Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris, and in this video we're going to check out who makes the smoothest ratchet when it comes to looking at the least amount of back drag. Now we're not talking about the clicking you hear, we're talking about the actual movement of engagement so that you can remove or tighten your fastener. Now these forces are really tiny, they're measured in inch ounces with this Torx screwdriver here, and let me put into perspective the amount of forces we're talking about. If you were to take an apple, for example, and twist off the stem, you can see that it's roughly around 2 inch ounces and maybe will peak around 4 inch ounces before twisting off. Now on the higher side, looking at this screw on the wall switch plate, you're not going to be exerting more than 8 or 9 inch ounces. So we have so many different tool brands here. We got Snap-on, Matco, Carlisle, Mac Tools, Capri Tools, Gear Wrench, Wright Tools, Icon, Harbor Freight, Milwaukee, Craftsman, Cobalt, SK Tools, you name it. Let's get to testing and find out who makes the smoothest ratchet with the least amount of back drag. So we'll kick things off with the Snap-on FHL80. Now this features Snap-on's Dual 80 technology. It comes from the Snap-on factory, greased with super lube. And you can see that the results on this thing when we slow it down come roughly around 8 to 9 inch ounces. Now next we'll jump into the quick release Snap-on FHRX80A, which also happens to be the locking flex head. Now you can see that this one again comes with super lube grease from the factory, and it is registering a little bit better, comes in roughly right around 7.5 to 8 inch ounces. Lubrication and wear is key to getting good results. So we're going to use super lube grease. We're going to burn this in for a little bit, and after that you can see we can get a little bit better results at 5.5 to 6 inch ounces. Up next is the Motiv X Tools 3/8 inch drive round head 144 position quick release ratchet. Now this product is made in Taiwan. Motiv X Tools is located in Washington, and it produces our smoothest, finest results at 3 to 3.5 inch ounces. Next up, we have two tools from Matco. The first one being the BFR 158 LFB. The brand new one produces 6 to 6.5 inch ounces, which is still pretty smooth, but when you have a used, well-maintained tool that's lightly lubricated, you can see it produces really smooth results, coming in at 4 to 4.5 inch ounces. Next we have two Tekton ratchets. First is the fixed head. I haven't used this one a whole lot, but it still produces really smooth, decent results at 6 to 6.5 inch ounces. And this one I've used a little bit more. This is the quick release. And you can see this one produces, again, some nice smooth results at 5 inch ounces. Next up, we have a lightly used Mac Tools Access ratchet. This is their locking flex head. And you can see after we start doing our back drag testing, it's pretty smooth. Comes in at roughly around 6.5 inch ounces. Now one of the last tool truck brands we're going to check out is the Cornwell JR-F72A. Now I've used this one quite a few times, and you can see in the results that it is pretty smooth. It's not the smoothest, but it comes in at 5 to 6 inch ounces. Here we have the Craftsman Gunmetal part number 82011. This is a 120 position ratchet. So it's actually got two pawls, one stacked on the other. This one's fairly new, haven't used it too much. You can see that it performs kind of inconsistently at 6 to 8 inch ounces. So now if you were to look at an older Craftsman made in America, part number 44815, this is a coarse 36 tooth ratchet, but it's really consistent. It has a lot of wear, a lot of use, and you can see everything's well worn in and produces a good, consistent, lower, smoother 7 inch ounces. Here we have a Stanley Tools ratchet. This is 89-818B because it has that black oxide finish on it. This one is super cheap and consistent. Produces really nice smooth numbers at 4 inch ounces. Now the next three items we're going to look at are Harbor Freight items. This is their 72 tooth low profile Pittsburgh ratchet. You can see the internals here. It's got two pawls, one for each engagement, and you can see it produces only 2 inch ounces of back drag, the lightest that we've seen so far. Here we have the Harbor Freight composite ratchet. The internals on it are really similar to that low profile one, and this one again does produce some of the lowest numbers that we've seen so far, 3 to 4 inch ounces. Now the last Harbor Freight ratchet we'll look at is the Icon Tools lineup here. This is their fixed head 90 tooth ratchet. Now the internals on here have a thicker grease to it, and that actually does have an adverse effect on it. However, it does fall in line with a lot of the other 90 tooth ratchets and has a smooth back drag of 5 to 6 inch ounces. The Cobalt Tools 90 tooth flex head ratchet has internals that are similar to that Harbor Freight, Pittsburgh, and composite ratchet. However, this is upgraded and has 90 tooth. When we look at this one, it's really smooth, has about 3 to 4 inch ounces, so it's slightly more than the Pittsburgh ones, but not a lot more. So the next ratchet that's trying to be the smoothest is the Capri Tools with the single pawl 72 tooth ratcheting mechanism. Typically these kinds of ratchets are a little bit more coarse and not as smooth as this one. It happens to be pretty decent and performs at 4 to 4.5 inch ounces when it comes to looking at the back drag. The Napa Carlisle 90 tooth long handle ratchet is made in Taiwan, and for a 90 tooth ratchet that's brand new, never been used, it's really smooth. I'm talking it's greased from the factory and has a very smooth light back drag at 4 to 4.5 inch ounces. The Cobra Steelman Pro has 160 teeth, the most out of everything we tested. Now I would say there's a point of diminishing return, and that might be just the case for the Cobra Steelman Pro. It's not very smooth at all. You can see that the back drag on this is the most out of all the ratchets tested at 9 to 10 inch ounces. Now the next brand, Aries Tools, you might not be too familiar with. This is a 90 tooth ratchet. It's kind of really similar to a Cobalt from Lowe's as well as a Harbor Freight. The internals, they're kind of the same. This one just happens to be 90 tooth, which makes it really light on the back drag at 3.5 inch ounces. The next ratchet is the GearWrench 90 tooth ratchet. Now this is pretty new to market. It launched in 2020, and you can see it came straight from the factory. I've used it very little, and it's actually really smooth at 4.5 to 5 inch ounces. It's pretty neat for a decent price tool. Now here is the GearWrench 120 XP. That's 2 pawls stacked on each other to give you 120 positions. Because of that, it actually tested out with more back drag than you would expect at 5 to 6 inch ounces, but it's still relatively smooth. Now here we have a Williams 36 tooth ratchet. Now this is a coarse tooth ratchet, and believe it or not, the spring tension on it actually has not been changed from default, and it was really smooth at 4 inch ounces. This product also happens to be made in Taiwan. Here we have a Milwaukee 90 tooth ratchet. This is something you can pick up at Home Depot. I've broke one of these before. It produces a lot of torque. It's a really heavy ratchet, but when it comes to back drag, it's not too bad at 4 to 5 inch ounces, which is similar to other 90 tooth ratchets. Here we have a round head ratchet. This is SK Tools 36 tooth, item 45170. It's literally brand new. I've never used it at all, and it produced around 6 inch ounces of back drag. And with some breaking in, this thing will be very smooth. Now here we have a Wright Tools flex head ratchet, item 3428. Now this one is lightly used. We can see that the numbers that are produced on here are very similar to other round head ratchets that are brand new at 5 to 6 inch ounces. So the very last brand that could be the smoothest ratchet that we're going to take a look at is the Husky Tools 100 position ratchet. These are kind of being phased out by the 144 position ratchets, and I can say it's a relatively inexpensive tool. It produces okay results. It's not the smoothest, it's not the finest. It does have a little sloppy internals, but it produces right around 5 to 6 inch ounces of back drag. So out of all the brands that we tested, which ratchet is the smoothest and has the least amount of back drag? Well, they kind of go in order here for you to take a look at. The Pittsburgh Pro Low Profile had around 2 inch ounces. The Motiv-X Tools round head ratchet, that had your 3 to 3.5. If you can see the little bunch here, these all have the same kind of pawl mechanism in it. And then it really is a jump where you go to your Stanley, which is a 72 tooth ratcheting mechanism. And then oddly enough, we had our Williams jump in there, which is a 36 tooth ratchet. So it really means that the spring inside there really is not very tight, but it operates really nicely. Now our first tool truck brand appears to show in the lineup here, but remember this one is used. So there was a big difference between a brand new and a used one. So one of the big factors into having a smooth ratchet is wear. That plays a big factor into it. And then use a good lubrication. For me, the lubrication that I use when it comes to the fine tooth ratchets, I use Super Lube oil, not the grease. That kind of causes back drag in and of itself. The Snap-on items use that Super Lube grease. I think that really was detrimental for it. When you saw we put the Super Lube oil in it, it really dropped the numbers down by 2 to 3 inch ounces. And then that fixed head actually started performing really, really well. So which ratchets produced the most amount of back drag and weren't the smoothest? Well, honestly guys, the Snap-on ones were not the smoothest. They were once you broke them in and used a proper oil that helped really lubricate things inside. That Super Lube grease to me is really thick material, and I really do like the Super Lube oil, not the grease. Now the Cobra Steelman Pro, we did lubricate that with the Super Lube oil. It didn't really help produce any better numbers. And this ratchet at 160 teeth also produced the most amount of back drag. It gives you the most amount of positions, but it's not the smoothest ratchet. It sounds really nice when you're clicking it and spinning it, but it's not the smoothest ratchet. So guys, I really hope this video helped you out when you're making your decisions, or maybe you have a lot of experience with any of these tools. Go ahead and comment down below if you feel some of the results were surprising to you, or if they were different, or if you feel like the break-in period on some of these ratchets are a little longer than you'd like, or maybe you're just going to switch to Super Lube oil and it'll solve all your problems. Really appreciate you guys all tuning in. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and give it 2 thumbs down. And as always guys, work smarter, not harder, and we'll catch you in the next video. Just a friendly reminder, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.